Okay, and we are live here on the channel. How's it going, everybody? We are here for some Richmond Raceway race coverage. They're just coming back from their commercial break. We should be live. They should be rolling on track. They started the engines a bit ago. All right. Sorry, I still got a little bit of lunch here because I just finished, just started eating. But here we go. First FS1 race of the year, so not as many people can watch it, unfortunately, because it's not on broadcast television. All right, so they have not actually rolled yet for the green flag. But yeah, so going into this race, the big question marks definitely lie, I think, most notably with the Toyotas, because the Toyotas have been dominant here for a while, and kind of the classic strategy idea is when in doubt, Toyota it out. And the question is, will that reign true? Especially where we haven't had any on track activity, so we don't really know where anybody's at with this new short track package and this track. I think it's unlikely that it will change drastically, but again, we'll still have to wait and see on that one. I got one more thing I need to do actually before they go green. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. How's it going, everybody? Should be ready for a nice, good race here. I'm really hoping for a good day for Kyle Busch outside of the Toyota camp, obviously, as a Kyle Busch fan, but yeah, I find it hard to bet against those Toyotas, though. There we go. What's the tire window? See, I think you run about 30 laps here, pit, run the final 30 to 35 laps. See, I think you run about 30 to 40 laps, then you pit and then run the next 30 to 40 for this first stage. Didn't see what the second stage is, but because I know it's probably longer than the first two, or than the first one, I mean. But, yeah. I will say, it is going to be strange being on track with no practice or qualifying with a brand new aero package. This is the same aero package that the Cup Series used at Phoenix a couple weeks ago. But, again, only one race worth of using this aero package, never at this track. So how's it going, everybody? We're getting ready. They're rolling for their pace laps. We're just kind of waiting for them to throw the green flag, and we're going to launch. So who's all your guys' pre-race picks? I'm going to pick, trying to figure out who I want to pick. Byron, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Christopher Bell are all great options. I just don't know which one I want to pick for my official pre-race pick. I haven't been that good with these pre-race picks. I'm going to say Kyle Busch wins from the front row. I will completely admit that most of that is probably due to bias because I'm a big Kyle Busch fan, but he is the leading short track race winner. I think a smarter move would be to go with Denny Hamlin or Christopher Bell out of that Toyota camp. I just don't like the fact that they're starting further back. Especially Christopher Bell. He's starting in like 21st spot. Which reminds me, I want to get a leaderboard up on my other monitor. That way I can actually read the stuff on screen without accidentally scrolling down on the side one. So yeah, Christopher Bell starting 21st. Now, Denny Hamlin starting 11th is not terrible for track position, but again, I'm going with Kyle Busch. There we go. Richmond Raceway with 18 wins for Joe Gibbs Racing. And that doesn't even factor in the potential that Ty Gibbs, or not Ty Gibbs, the two Toyota drivers at the other teams, like specifically 2311, the 23 and the 45 car, could potentially pick up this win too. I think Reddick's a big threat. I'm curious to see how Bubba Wallace would do. I think he will probably be the weakest of all the Toyotas, but that's not saying much. I think the four Joe Gibbs cars could probably go 1, 2, 5, 6. If everything kind of falls about perfectly for him. But yeah, so oh yeah, now they're talking about the Hendrick Motorsports appeal. Um, but yeah, that was a interesting appeal. I'm curious to see how Haley's does next week. Here we go. The pace car is getting ready to pull off the track, and we are getting ready to go racing here at Richmond. So here we go. Yep, there we go. Pace car diving for pit road. It's going for cover because these cars are about to be unleashed. And here we go. It is going to be a green, green, green. Green flag is out, and we are racing at Richmond in the daytime. This should be a one of the two races. I would probably lean towards the summer race being a night race and keep the spring one a day race because you need warmer temperatures. And it could be really cold in Richmond in late March, early April, like this race tends to be. Obviously, today being April 2nd. But here we go. But they're green flag, and it looks like Kyle Busch is going to lose out first place to Bowman. He's going to try and get in front of Byron here, but I don't know if he's going to get down in front of him. He's going to have to fight on this outside lane for Kyle Busch. He's going to have to try and find a hole. And right now, Byron is doing everything he can not to leave one. There we go. A hole opened up behind Byron, and he was able to get in line third place for Kyle Busch. Your front two are the two Hendrick cars with Bowman and Byron. Very lucky that they got their points back just in time for a race to be rained out and use owner points to help set the grid. Oh, Kyle got loose there. Kyle Busch got really loose right there for a moment. He's now back on the outside now with Reddick to his inside. He's back to fourth place. He's trying to cut in front of. Oh, he tried to cut right in front of Cindric. That is really close. I wouldn't necessarily rely on that. Oh, it was a little bit of contact with Chastain. Okay. So Chastain ended up going around the outside of Kyle Busch. And then the contact is made dropping Kyle Busch now that he got in line in fifth place, right ahead of Cindric. So yeah, Ryan Blaney, they're showing Ryan Blaney. He's done all right. Just kind of the weird thing because of just how much Toyota has absolutely decimated this race that you really haven't seen a non-Toyota driver really be able to dominate this race in a while. I mean, actually, Harvick did. Oh, wasn't no, no, it wasn't. It was in 2021. I think Harvick led quite a few laps at one of the races and was able to punch his ticket. Or was that no? That was last year with the next gen car, wasn't it? I'm trying to remember exactly when Harvick won Richmond. Okay, so yeah, that was 2022. That so yeah, so that was yeah, I believe that was last year that Harvick ended up winning at Richmond to go back to back to punch his ticket to the playoffs in a year where it didn't look like he would. So here we go. Harvick is now currently working on Chris Buescher for 10th here. And hey, we got side by side for the race lead. We got Byron on the outside, Bowman on the inside. The way Byron dominated Phoenix makes me think that Byron may do well here at this race, too. I don't know how much will carry over from one race to the next, but I think that it's a very good chance that this race, usually these two tracks are used as kind of a measuring stick. In particular, I remember the hype that Keselowski started building. I think it was 2020 when he won New Hampshire, and then Richmond. I think he also won, and he won kind of those two races, both being Richmond or being Phoenix lookalikes, or at least tracks that race like Richmond or like Phoenix. I mean, so. And that ended up building up his kind of stock for that championship potential. And ultimately, he ended up coming up short there. But yeah. So here we go. We're back to commercial break. They're back to commercial break, so we're just kind of filling it out. But yeah, Kyle Busch is my race pick. Not a great look when he's going backwards on the start, but maybe that means he'll have a good long run car. Who's your guys' pick for the race win here? Hey, NASCAR fan 33, how's it going? So yeah, we got 3 weeks in a row of short track racing. We got NASCAR on the dirt next week at for the Easter race at Bristol Dirt. Then we got Martinsville in 2 weeks' time at for that race. Then we go to Talladega and Dover. So yeah, I'm looking forward to honestly this entire month of racing. We got 3 short tracks, whatever you consider Dover, and a super speedway at Talladega. Kind of funny that all 4 of the other tracks this month can all fit into the outline of Talladega's infield. But yeah. So yeah, so far though, actually it's been a pretty decent race, all things considered when they started off. Kind of impressed Stenhouse has stabilized in 8th place. Because he started 8th. In 2022, I feel like to an extent Talladega was boring. I think to an extent it was also that there was still a parts shortage for the next gen car that people, that the teams were still somewhat worried about going forward. Now, obviously, that didn't end up, at least didn't force any teams to miss any races last year, but we're certainly I'm sure we're in a better parts situation this year than last year. But, I mean, look at the 2 plate races this year so far, and they've been pretty decent, honestly, all things considered. Between Atlanta 2 or Atlanta 1 and Daytona 500 for the season opener. Oh, okay. So Stenhouse actually had a car pass it that could actually attempt to try and pass Larson. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. Larson or not Larson? Well, yeah, Larson. Larson just got passed by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse is making ground. Stenhouse has passed 2 cars in the last lap. What? I mean, I love this because I love seeing Stenhouse being competitive, and he's going around the outside of Kyle Busch. What on earth? What? This is not supposed to be Stenhouse's cup of tea. I thought he was supposed to be just a plate ringer. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'll say Stenhouse is another one of my guys. He's one of my big 3 that I root for. And really, it's kind of a big 4 now that Allmendinger is back in Cup. So, but yeah, Stenhouse is definitely on that list. Stenhouse, Kyle Busch, McDowell, and Allmendinger are kind of my big 4. But yeah, pretty good racing. Honestly, yesterday's Richmond race, I didn't get to see too much of it, although the And I got to see basically the second half, and it was all right. But yeah. So right now, Hamlin is up one spot. He's up into the top 10. Kyle Busch back to 6th is not my favorite. I say AJ Allmendinger and Josh Berry are both stuck outside the top 25 right now. It looks like, looking at the leaderboard. Anthony Alfredo is back in the Cup Series for the first time in a few years, so nice to see him back. Because he really hasn't been back for a while. He got sent back to Xfinity to kind of learn the ropes, which is fair. I think he needed a full season of Xfinity before going Cup racing, which he didn't get. Yeah, the onboard in the cars, it looked like they pixelated it out again, which I thought they were only doing at the Xfinity series or at the plate tracks, but yeah, this race is actually pretty good so far in the early running. But yeah, it looked like they were pixelating something out, which I thought they were only doing at the plate tracks, but yeah, that's to try and disguise the trying to keep some of the dashboard secrets for the teams, because the teams, obviously, other teams are watching the broadcast to see if they can catch anything. But yeah. Oh, 3 laps to competition caution? Really? Oh, wow, we're already 28 laps in. I did not realize we were flying through laps this quickly. I did not realize we were flying through this stage this quickly. Okay, so you got comp yellow at 30. Yeah, you pit at 30, and you won't have much tire strategy in this first stage because the comp yellow will basically dictate when you take your tires. But yeah. So here we go. We're gonna have to look away. We're gonna have to look at around at the onboard and see when we're gonna get this thing. Oh, why is my leaderboard not updating for whatever reason? So it still says 27. Let's see if my other one. I'm gonna try refreshing it over here first. Oh, there we go. It just updated without me refreshing it. But yeah, so here we go. We're back. We're waiting on the comp yellow. It should be flying any moment here. Yep, yellow, yellow, yellow. Yellow is out. Yellow is out. So here we go. Competition caution flag here. Stenhouse is probably the biggest surprise. Let's say 4 tires here. 4 tires, no questions here. Yeah, if you take 2 tires, especially this early on in the race, you are either a really bold gambler who really is really just a stupid gambler at that point. But yeah, really, there's no reason to wait on this. Yeah, 4 tires is the strategy. Question is, who can do 4 tires faster? So here we go. I'm into pit road. Is pit road open? No, there we go. There's the light. So, not sure why they're showing that camera. Okay, really, NASCAR? Why were we showing the pit road entrance camera when we don't have, when pit road isn't open yet? I was worried that the front few were choosing to stay out, which would be stupid. But yeah. So here we go. So who's everybody's pre-race pick? Well, they're under yellow and not going to be doing much until we get to the actual decision to come to pit road or not. Although I'm sure everybody's coming. I mean, I gotta say, early on, Stenhouse's look really good. And yep, there's the camera, and pit road's open. Everybody's coming, no questions. Yeah, everybody's pitting for 4 tires fuel here. Here we go, here we go, here we go. So Byron's changing 4 tires. Alex Bowman's changing 4 tires. I think Reddick and Chastain have already changed 4 tires. Oh, did I just see a car pass? Let's see. Chastain wins the race off pit road. Ross the Boss Chastain just took the lead on pit road. There we go. Byron, Bowman, Reddick, the next 3. Kyle Busch gets back the 2 spots that he had lost on the track, and Stenhouse loses all the track position. Suarez gains some. But, oh man, that stings. Where is the 47? Okay, let's see. Stenhouse is 15th after a pit stop. So he went from 5th to 15th. His crew lost him 10 spots. I mean, he's been good, but can he gain back 10 spots good? Ugh. That's awful for him. But I guess while we're at commercial break, that'd be a good time to let everybody know to like and subscribe if you guys are interested. If you guys enjoy these streams, of course, share them with others so we can get some good discussion going in here for the downtime of the race, like yellow flag periods. We got a lot of racing this week or this month. Also, had a pretty good IndyCar race today, supposedly. I haven't actually gotten to see any of the highlights yet, but I know who won. But yeah, looking forward to going back and rewatching the race later for the IndyCar race. But yeah, IndyCars on ovals is always fun. Still find it a little strange that the trucks weren't at Richmond, because I feel like the trucks put on a really good show at Richmond when they race. But here we go. So here we go. Yeah, there's still a commercial break. We're just chatting it up here. So I guess right now would be a good time to kind of delve into the Hendrick Motorsports penalty and the recension of it. So Hendrick Motorsports made their appeal to the NASCAR appeals panel of their penalty that they received at Phoenix last month over the modified parts, and they ended up the motorsports the National Motorsports Appeal Committee or whatever ended up appealing the points part of the penalty. The other stuff stuck, so the $4,000 or the $400,000 in penalties, and the crew chief suspension stuck. But now all 400 cars have their points back. For owners' points, the 3 full-time drivers have their points back. Elliott didn't lose any points because he's not a full-time driver, and Barry doesn't race for points in this series, so no driver points were taken. So, and likely now you've got pretty. Wait, why is Stenhouse going behind the wall? No! Can we talk? Okay, so Denny Hamlin gets the speeding penalty. Can we talk about why Stenhouse is behind the wall? One of the fastest cars is now behind the wall. Can I get an answer on that one? That that is awful. No. And whoa, Chastain launches like a bullet out there. Green flag is back out, and Chastain is away with the race lead. Byron falls easily into second with the big gap created between first and second on the inside of the lane. We got Larson. Is that Logano on the outside? Yeah, that's Logano. Okay. So Logano, Larson, and Bowman were 3 wide, along with Harvick, Blaney, and Kyle Busch were also 3 wide behind them. So 2 rows of 3 wide there. We picked up a lot of viewership during the caution, and then we suddenly dropped back down, which is not fun. But yeah, so here we go. So right now they're just all trying to kind of shuffle around, find out. We don't have a lot of time. That's one thing we know is that we don't have a lot of time to figure this out. We're already at 30 laps to go, and we saw how fast 30 laps just kind of blinked by earlier when we were interacting with the first half of this stage. I gotta say, I like that Quaker State car for Suarez. I didn't think I would, but I actually do really enjoy that Quaker State car. It's not my favorite scheme by far, but it's a solid paint scheme. Here we go. Harvick looking to the inside on Alex Bowman for, I think that's 6th place there. And now they cut away from it. Why do you, the second I start talking about a battle, they cut away from the battle. There we go. Harvick looking to the inside on Bowman. He's definitely there, but I don't think he's got the speed to clear him quite yet. And now they cut back to the... Just stay on one battle, please, for 2 minutes. All right, Harvick clears himself in front of Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman gives up the spot to get to the inside. Let's see, if these cameras could just... When they find a side-by-side battle that's really looking like it's going to be good, or at least is decent, why not stay on it? But, yeah, here we go. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Hamlin just spun somebody out! Who did Hamlin spin out there? Number 15. The number 15 car. Who dat? That's J.J. Yaley that got wrecked. So here we go. J.J. Yaley gets wrecked by Denny Hamlin. No idea what prompted that one. Was Hamlin just that upset with the car going slow? Because, yeah, there's no question that he definitely meant to do it. I just don't know why Hamlin decided to do it. Man, no idea. But, yeah, that's probably going to put an end to J.J. Yaley's race. And, man, I'm still a little bit bummed out from the Stenhouse thing. I mean, he's now 12 laps behind the race, so even if it is a mechanical problem, when and if he does get back, he's lost any shot at winning the race. We haven't seen the Toyota march to the front that we've expected, although, again, with the Joe Gibbs Racing front, you had Bell starting mid-pack, Truex, who's, I would say, a little overrated in terms of his short track prowess, mainly because of the car he's in, although I think he still is solid. I think, again, passing cars for him he wasn't necessarily the Joe Gibbs guy. If I was going to leave one off, probably would have been him. I'm not sure why my feed has decided to stop playing. But yep, fun times. But yeah. So Truex, Bell, rookie Ty Gibbs, I didn't expect to do much. I mean, he started all right, but he lost a bit of ground on the pit stop. He definitely is not the fastest driver by far, but over the course of a few years, he might get the handle on short tracks. His short tracks were never really the specialty there, especially Richmond. But here we go. So yeah, waiting to see how everything shakes out here. I don't think anybody here takes tires. I think you try and save your set. Now you did get an extra set of tires for this race because of the lack of practice. They allowed them to use their practice set for the race. Now, possibly that might encourage somebody to try 2 tires here and just see how quickly they can get through the field with 2 tires. But yeah, now, especially if you're inside the top 10, you aren't doing that because you want the points. If you're 11th, you're not doing it because you have the shot at points. If you're 16th on back, maybe, but you're so far back, I don't know why you would pit for a strategy like that. I mean, it's possible, but again, I wouldn't say it's overly likely. So here we go. I will say I do miss seeing NASCAR drivers in kind of the promos and stuff, but yep. 48 complete, getting ready to go back green flag, hopefully, because yeah, these yellows are not exactly the most exciting part of the race. But I will say, we got a decent green flag run in to start this one. All right, so they are working on Yaley's car, so I guess they don't think that Yaley's done. Okay, so Stenhouse had some sort of fluid leaking. Okay, so we know that much. Man, that's a bummer. And now you got the Hendrick 1, 2, 3 there. Every full-time Hendrick Motorsports driver is currently in the top 3 here. Green flag is out, and they are back to racing. Oh wait, sorry, no, my bad. That isn't Bowman on the front row. That's Chastain. But yeah, there we go. Now you got those 2 Hendrick cars from that Phoenix race that absolutely decimated the field. Because yeah, Chastain and Byron dominated it. But yeah, so I'm curious to see if these two can dominate here in Martinsville both. We'll have to wait and see, but eventually these two are gonna run into each other and start taking each other off, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. So Kevin Harvick doing well. That's pretty good to see. Reddick dropped back a few spots there on the restart. But yeah, I like to see Harvick moving his way up to the front. You got Chastain starting to drift back. 3 wide there for Almirola, Suarez, and I don't know who that is in the middle. But yeah, there's 3 wide in the middle of the pack there. But man. So here we go. We're getting ready for we got a 20 lap run here basically to the checkered flag of the stage. Reminder, we are back to having yellows to end the stages because we're at an oval. So here we go. So right now, I mean, honestly, hey, there we go. Christopher Bell up into the top 10. That's what we were looking for. We were looking for the storyline, and there we go. Christopher Bell has moved his way inside that top 10. McDowell is up to 13th. That's not too bad, considering, again, not exactly a short track specialist, although he's usually not too bad at this type of track. Here we go. Austin Dillon and Chris Busch are battling it out further back. Let's see. That's a battle for 15th there between those two. Where'd Kyle Busch end up? Okay, Kyle Busch is 12th right now, so my pre-race pick is currently sitting in 12th place. Oh boy. So here we go. Oh, we got Ryan Preece to the inside of Chris Buescher. So these are kind of battles in and around that edge of the top 15 here. But yeah, Ryan Preece looks like Truex is about to try and make that pass on Austin Dillon as well. It's an interesting fight. We're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Obviously, we got about 10 laps to go here till the 10 laps to go before we get the stage end. Byron is looking like he's going to get a lot of points. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves here as the points leader. How many points does he need to make up on? Let's see how many points he needs to make up on his teammate to be the new points leader. Alright, he needs 29 points. He might not gain all of that in one race, especially if Bowman finishes top 10, but he'll eat into it. And not to mention the playoff points he's already accumulated from 2 wins, so that's 10. And what is it, 2 stage wins? No, 4. So he's already got 14 playoff points in the bank no matter what happens the entire rest of the season. That's more than Bowman, who has no playoff points as of right now. Like, he's got nothing in the bank for playoff points. Chastain has 3 from 3 stage wins, 1 at the 500 and the 2 at Auto Club, I believe it was. Kyle Busch has the win, and has 1 win and 4 stage points, so he's got 9 playoff points to start the playoffs when we get to those. So, a couple of drivers starting to build up a ton of playoff points here early on in the season. That's kind of the big thing we saw with Truex during his championship season, was that he built up a massive points lead early and was never really challenged in terms of the playoff cut line. He was never really in danger of missing out. Now, he was helped by wins at the first race of each of the first 2 rounds, but yeah, he was never really going to be in danger of missing out. So here we go. Brad Keselowski versus Christopher Bell for 8th right now. Oh, Reddick and Harvick, the top 2 non-Chevys, are both complaining about brake shake. Oh boy. Wonder if that might be something the Chevys have figured out that the Fords and Toyotas seem to have missed on, maybe. We'll have to wait and see here. There we go. Bell making the move around the outside on Keselowski. And Christopher Bell takes that spot, and he will clear himself in front of Keselowski. Now you got Preece passing Cindric here for 13th, it looks like. So some interesting spots, honestly. I mean, I want to see how I want to see what Kyle Busch can do if he gets his track position back. Because that's the thing is that he lost out on a lot of track position early, and it seems like he's got a long run car. So when and if we get a long run, we'll get to finally see what his car is maybe made of. Or it could be a situation where we don't think where he may just never make progress, but I think that's unlikely. Here we go. Logano making the pass here on Reddick. So there we go. So Logano makes a pass on Reddick for that extra stage point. Gonna try and earn a few more of those. Byron definitely looks in control of this one. He's got about a second between himself and Larson for that first for that top spot. No one's really going to challenge him. Here we go. Coming to the end of stage number 1. It is Byron, Larson, Chastain, Harvick, Logano, Reddick, Bowman, Christopher Bell, Keselowski, and Chase Briscoe rounding out your top 10 drivers. So a pretty decent day or a pretty decent variety inside that top 10 compared to normal. Only 2 Toyotas, which is a little low, and then 4 Chevys and 4 Fords, so it's pretty good. So yeah, that's honestly pretty good. So here we go. We're getting ready for pit stops again. I'm expecting 4 tires and fuel for every car in the field as we get ready for. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 160 laps in this stage. We're gonna need. So you pit at lap 50 and you pit at lap 100, and that's your efficient pit strategy for this stage, I guess. I mean, I thought that 35 might be a little short for splitting that other stage in half, but I mean, it's pretty easy when your tire window is about 50 to 70 laps, and you have a stage that can be pretty much perfectly broken up into. I would probably even go 55, 55, so your pit stops come at 55, 110, and then you at the stage finish. That way you have a little bit less time on those tires at the very end of it. But you don't want to shorten that final run up too much because you'll lose time on the old tires. The older those tires get. So yeah, definitely interesting to see, but honestly, it's actually a pretty good race so far. We're about a fourth of the way in, and we're about an hour into the broadcast. So, I mean, pacing, it doesn't feel short by any stretch. So, yeah, honestly, feels pretty good. Now, this is something I've said a few times, and I know a lot of people disagree with me. I actually really enjoy Richmond Raceway as a racetrack. I love the strategy element of the fact that your tires wear out so much. Like, for example, a couple years ago, I think it was Brad Keselowski stayed out to do the entire race or the entire stage on a set of tires. He ended up lapped in the final laps of the race to the guys who made a pit stop. I mean, that kind of speed on fresh tires compared to old tires. I mean, that right there screams why the strategy at this track is so different, and that was started by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Brian Patty, a very good duo when it came to coming up with the strategy here. They may not put on they may not do the best at a lot of the races, but this is one track that they had nailed down, and credit where credit is due. So here we go. They're doing it the throw to the studio for the ones to watch. But yeah, Hendrick cars, especially the 24 and the 5, certainly seem like the ones to watch. I said Byron as one of the guys I was kind of throwing around as a potential pick for the day. I went with Kyle Busch, which is looking like a worse and worse pick the longer this race goes. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, though, how that pick ends up going. So here we go. Everybody is coming to pit road. Wait a minute. Did I just see Stenhouse's car? Stenhouse is back on the track. Stenhouse is on the track. Wait a minute. Stenhouse is back on the track. Hold up. Stenhouse, he's back on the track. He's 14 laps down, but Stenhouse is back on the track. Let's go. Come on, Stenhouse. Let's get those 14 laps back and let's take this field to the cleaners. I know it's not going to happen, but man, would it be cool. It'd be insane. But man, that'd be fun. So yeah, Stenhouse is back on the track. Man, I just got a lot more excited. But yep. Let's see. So Kyle Busch up into the top 10 right now. Ryan Preece. So we're going to have some new players near the front. Christopher Bell up into the top 5. That's going to be the big one. Where'd Reddick go? So Ty Gibbs 11th, Denny Hamlin 12th. Those are more of those when in doubt, pick a Toyota picks. Why is Alfredo up in 16th? I guarantee that's not where he's running. Reddick is showing 26th. That is not good. So we'll have to wait and see, obviously, where a lot of these shake out. I'm just excited that Stenhouse back out there and has a shot to at least prove why he is a driver to be feared at this track, potentially. But here we go. Whew, man. Oh, yeah. I'm curious to see how... Oh, yeah, there we go. Now it's starting to cycle back out. So Bell 10th, Reddick 9th. That looks a lot more realistic. Again, I like seeing Christopher Bell up in that top 10. Reddick being at the back half of that top 10 makes me curious to see how well he'll do. But I will say, this race is looking a lot more competitive than the Toyota factory train that it normally is. Yeah. Well, while they're still at commercial break, I'm gonna just give you guys another reminder to like and subscribe if you guys enjoying the stream, so that hopefully more and more people can find us. But until, also share it with anybody you know that likes to watch NASCAR, because we enjoy having some pretty good discussions, and we've had some pretty good ones over the course of this year so far. And I look forward to hopefully getting to discuss some dirt racing next week at Bristol. I won't be there in person, but I will be sitting in this chair watching it with you guys on Easter night. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I'm excited to see what the dirt race looks like on TV, because I've never actually watched the dirt race on TV, surprisingly. Hopefully it doesn't end up rained out. That'd be my biggest worry. But yeah, here we go. They're back from commercial break. They're pacing, and I believe the pace car is about to run for cover. We're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, those. Yep, there we go. Are they still talking to him literally as they're about to enter the restart zone? Oh, okay, that was recorded during the break. I was gonna say they better not be talking to him right as they go green. Okay, good. Shoo. I wouldn't have put it past NASCAR to have had them talk to the driver as he was going green. I still the SRX has it awesome where they've done mid-race interviews while under green flag conditions. But yeah, I'd say Briscoe is interesting to see him having a good day for the first time in a while. Oh, Reddick dropped back a little bit. Kyle Busch going up a bit at the start of this stage. Oh no, Allmendinger too fast exiting. So Allmendinger to the rear. I believe they said. Who else did they say? Ryan Blaney was the other one that also had to go to the rear. But yeah, right now Chastain and Larson still battling it out to try and see who's going to be second place on this green flag run to start it off. There we go. Chastain gets the spot. Larson falls in behind him. Pretty sure Larson's going to be looking for a way to pass Chastain, though, pretty quickly here. So, Ty Gibbs in 13th and Denny Hamlin in 14th or 15th here. He's side by side, so it's hard to kind of see where he's going to come out. But, yeah. In the battle for 14th, it is curious to see those Toyotas again not having the dominant speed that we've kind of come to expect from Toyota at this track. I'm gonna say Christopher Bell, the lone bullet for Toyota in that top 10 right now. Although Reddick's just outside of it with Kyle Busch. So here we go. So yeah, right now though, I will say another one I'm actually kind of been really impressed with this season is the progress from Brad Keselowski. Because last year, even before the penalty, before they were win at all cost, they didn't really look like they had much for pace. And now this year, they've looked like the Brad Keselowski of old. They've looked like how Keselowski looked at his back in his Penske days. Maybe not quite as fast, but very consistently up in the top 10, sometimes top 5, depending on the race. So here we go. This is definitely an interesting strategy thus far to see. I'm also curious to see how, if Briscoe can pull off because that's the big thing is that Briscoe, he's so far back in points, he will probably end up needing a win to actually get to the playoffs. Curious to see where that might come. Indy Road Course is a really easy bet to potentially say that, yeah, he could win there. But, I mean, he won at Phoenix last year, and that was his first career win, so we'll have to wait and see. Joey Logano getting even closer to Kyle Larson, though, and we know that Logano won't care about moving Larson out the way to try and make a pass, probably. But yeah, I will say though that Byron is absolutely taking off on this run. Though he's got about a second and a half lead right now over Chastain. Reddick has passed Kyle Busch to get up into that 10th spot, but yeah, pretty much everybody's kind of gotten into their lockstep here and getting ready to go. Just kind of minding the gaps here. All right, Reddick looking to make a pass on Briscoe now already. So Kyle Busch now is going to be battling Martin Truex Jr. for that. Oh, wait, nope. Yeah. So, sorry. Kyle Busch, yeah, he's still going to be battling MTJ for position. Here we go. Bubba is currently 18th. That is curious, but again, we haven't seen the knockout speed that we've seen from Toyota in the past, so I'm not surprised to see Bubba struggle. Let me just quickly check and see. Who's the lowest Toyota right now? Yeah, so Bubba in 18th. So really, even though the Toyotas have been struggling, as I said, almost all the Toyotas are within 7th to 18th. So they're stretched pretty thin, or they're pretty condensed, actually. Oh, man. Let's finish at the end of the race. Looking at the Fox Bet Super 6 questions. I haven't bothered playing it because they started making it too complex to actually keep it fun. Oh, we got Josh Berry is around off the nose of Ryan, or Josh Berry off the nose of Ryan Blaney. I think I might have gotten some of those words muddled up, but there we go. Yellow flag is out for that spin, but what is up with these fast cars ending up in the back and getting really short-tempered? I mean, I get it. You need to get to the back or get there, but that was the first. He had barely gotten there when he went and moved him. What? I mean, I don't know. That definitely was on purpose, Boots. I mean, hey, you can defend Blaney as much as you want, but it just seems like people are having really short tempers with everybody in the back half of the field. Because Hamlin got a speeding penalty and got short with Yaley. Now Blaney got a speeding penalty and got short with Josh Berry. Oh, this is gonna. All right, you know what? This is gonna be the first very interesting break in strategy here. Because, yeah, you have a very tough decision to make here. You gotta either. You only have 15 laps on your tires. You can pit here to. I think, yes, I think most of the field will take tires here. I think if you're really curious, if you think if you think track position is worth it, I could see one, maybe two guys trying to stay out. I don't think they'll have anything to try and gain, which is why I don't think they'll end up doing it. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Anthony Alfredo try it, or someone like that who is not on pace at all. Maybe you see the or maybe you see the 6 Toyotas try it and use their numbers, or the 3 calling cards you can maybe see try it. Just some combination of people I could see trying it, but again, I don't know who in their right mind thinks that is the good long run strategy, because the risk is too great in terms of the time you lose on those 15 lap older tires. So you're gonna have 130 laps. I think you now go. I think you try and stretch it to 65 and do one. You do a one stop at 65. If you wanted to still do 2 stops in the stage, it's like, okay. 130 divided by 3 would be. Let me do the math real quick. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm just going to use a calculator. So you would need to pit at lap 70-ish in the run. So you'd basically be splitting up about 45 laps a run. a little under 45 laps a run. Although honestly, for the first two segments, I might do 45 and 45, and then have a short run to the finish. Especially if I know I've got a good short run car like Byron. Honestly, if I'm those, you know what? If I'm the Hendrick cars, I actually pull this strategy. I go 45 laps and I pit. Now, the question is the difference between, can you make up that kind of time for two stops? I think you pit early. I think you pit at 45 to try and stretch it to the end and hope for a timely yellow. Because there's a wide range of time that a yellow could fall your way, waiting to see, and obviously for you to run through the field. So, I think there's time. I think, realistically, if I'm a driver who has teammates that would try the strategy with me, potentially, because it's kind of one of those things that you'd hate to be being bad all by yourself, and you really don't want to feel stupid being the only person on a strategy if it doesn't end up working. But yeah, I can see the Hendrick Chevys in particular maybe trying that. It just kind of really comes down to what ends up benefiting it all in the end. So Harvick had a slow stop, and Logano had to pit a second time. That is not good. So there we go. Man, some slow stop, a slow stop and a second stop there. That's interesting. So, all right, I'm curious. So 45 laps from now would be 75. So at 75, we'll check in on the strategy in 45 laps. So at lap 75, we'll check in and see if some cars are maybe considering pit stops. Again, maybe the 6 Toyotas will pull it, that because I could see maybe the Chevy's not wanting to give up the lead, because right now as it's going, they can set the tempo. Although even if I want to set a fast tempo if I'm leading the race, so I don't want somebody else to try and speed and try and put the pressure on me to perform. Here we go. Bell up into the top 5. That's a cool one to see. Nice to see Christopher Bell getting up into that top 5. I am curious to see how he ends up doing here. So here we go. Kyle Busch versus Chase Briscoe right now, battling it out for the 10th spot. Kyle just doesn't seem to have the outrun speed. Kyle, I'd like to see Kyle maybe try this. He doesn't necessarily have a teammate near the front, but again, you don't really need a teammate. It's not like Daytona Talladega where you need a drafting partner to go with you to help you keep pace. In fact, it's probably easier if you do it alone, maybe. Now that I'm thinking about the pitting strategy, maybe it is easier if you have multiple cars and can split the strategy even to try and increase the chance of one of your team going to pit or going to victory lane. But again, I mean, I would honestly be curious to see if somebody tries that strategy. So let's see. Suarez up into the top 10. Nice to see him fighting. He's battling it out with Brad Keselowski. So let's see what we end up seeing here. All right, so Briscoe and Kyle Busch are now battling it out for 9th, not 10th. Let's see. Harvick stuck. Wow, why is Harvick stuck so... Oh, yeah, he had a slow stop. That's why. Derby. Alright, so now Reddick and so the entire all six Toyotas are spread out amongst 10 spots. So they actually are pretty well centered on the field. The big thing again is, are they going to be able to find that one thing to kind of break through the blockade that's going to form? Because right now there's a Chevy train building at the front. But yeah, here we go. I would like to see Kevin Harvick win a race this year. I just don't think this is the race that he wins. I don't know which race I would say is definitely the Harvick win. I would say Michigan's a contender for it, maybe. I wouldn't put it past one of the Richmond races being the Harvick win. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of question marks around him and where he potentially gets that first win of 2023. So yeah, they're starting to spread out, which is nice to see the field getting spread out. It helps the drivers kind of start to settle into a rhythm. But yeah, here we go. So Suarez starting to lose some ground. He's about to get attacked by Truex as opposed to being on the attack. So here we go. Suarez about to be under fire from Martin Truex Jr. If Martin can just catch up to him here. So yeah, so the name of the game here is going to be what happens at lap 75. After lap 75, so from lap 75 till about lap um so I think from lap 75 till I don't know, it's hard to really predict what we're going to see, but yeah, I would say about lap 75 is what we're looking at for pit stop timing. But here we go. We're gonna have to wait and see. Oh, Truex does get the pass on Suarez. Okay, I thought it might be coming, but I'm kind of surprised to see it happen this quickly. But of course, it happens while we're at commercial break, so we don't actually get to see the pass. But yeah, the Hendrick. It's safe to say the Hendrick cars have not lost a ton of speed. Bell makes a pass on Bowman for fourth. But yeah, yeah. I mean, it is safe to say that the Hendrick cars really haven't lost a step with the penalty. But here we go. Here we go. What are we going to see here again? Like the big thing is not being able to see the track, so not knowing who is actually fighting for position with people. Ryan Blaney back up into the top 15. Harvick's going to be trying to catch Ty Gibbs right now. Denny Hamlin's up into the top 10. He takes Kyle Busch's spot in that top 10 there. Allmendinger really hasn't been able to do much, though, from his spot. All right, so here we go. man, man, sorry about that. Here we go. It's Wood Brothers Racing Day in Virginia. Hadn't heard of that, but apparently okay. What a day for Burton to potentially go ahead and get his first career win in Cup. It's extremely unlikely. He's currently running about 22nd, but it's not impossible. Also, for them to get their 100th career win in the Cup Series would be fitting, but again, I don't anticipate it. Oh, here we go. Kyle Busch is caught up, or not Kyle Busch. Kyle Larson is caught up to William Byron here, and they're going to be battling it out for the race lead right now. So here we go. Larson's got he's got 3/4 of a car on Byron. Byron still has his nose in there though, and there we go. Byron lifts off, lets Larson have the spot. So here we go. Byron has let Larson go, and this is at lap. But yeah, this is at about lap 20 something on the run. I think it's about 25 laps on this run at this point. So about 25 laps on the tires, it seems like, is when the momentum shifts from Byron to Larson. Curious to see what happens over the next 15 to 20 laps. There we go. Thank you, Larry Mack. Larry Mack just said the number one thing I've been saying about that I have my number one opinion on this penalty. And there goes Larson lapping the number 47 car. But yeah, it either should be a penalty or not be a penalty. I'm curious to see what Justin Haley gets from his appeal. Because I feel like they should have just dropped the points penalty and revised the penalty themselves before they go into that appeal meeting. Because if Justin Haley doesn't get his points back, yet Hendrick got all of theirs back, I feel like something is off there. Again, I'm not trying to predict that they aren't going to give it back. I just think that if they don't, it'll set a really bad precedent that potentially Hendrick and certain organizations are above the rules when other teams aren't. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I think that they should end up appealing that penalty as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Denny Hamlin this week is also appealing his penalty for the intentional wreck of Chastain that he admitted to. I really don't see how he gets away with a successful appeal of this penalty, because unless the motorsports appeals panel or whatever says that saying something after you leave the track isn't subject to review. But I feel like, again, if they say it on a podcast, I gotta react to somehow at least. Oh, J.J. Haley did get back out on track. I did not think he would. But yeah, they got the car back out on track within the time limit. And here we go. Larson, he is starting to make some headway here. And he's starting to gap William Byron. So we're closing in on that time where I would say start looking at your first pit stop. But yeah, Definitely seems like Byron has a short run car, Larson has the longer run car. As soon as the as soon as that 20 lap part hits, the whole momentum starts to shift for the Hendrick cars there. And here we go. We got our first mover. We have got we got Busher. Oh, Larry McReynolds just mentioned the exact breakdown I was talking about. Yeah, we're about 10 laps early on my prediction. I said lap 75 in this stage. We would check in on the strategy, but Busher opening that door potentially early. We'll see if he drags any of these front runners to pit road and what he potentially ends up doing. They're going to a side-by-side commercial. That's nice to see that we got some side-by-sides. So yeah, I mean, right now the biggest thing with this NASCAR race is that we're waiting for the pit stops. I think quite a few of these drivers might even be trying to save some tire. If you're planning on going, so if you're planning on going to the halfway point, so you'd be trying to go. Let me see what the split is here. So 65, so lap 85. So I think about lap 80 to 90 is when we would see the two stoppers. So you have to go that far. I think you definitely could be seeing some people maybe saving some tire that they may have left in the tank because you don't know how long you might be going. But yeah, I mean, right now though, and wow, we got 4 Toyotas up into that top 10. I said the Toyotas were kind of the ones to beat. Of course, we had to wait and see, but it looks like I was very accurate the on the long run, at least, that the Toyotas are starting to show a bit of pace and being able to pass cars over time. We'll have to wait and see what the strategy ends up showing. When we get back from this commercial break, that would be about when I would start seeing the cars on that alternate strategy. I would say pit. Again, about 4 laps is what I said. At 75 was my original prediction. We could see a little earlier, we could see a little later, but oh, there we go. Josh Berry is on pit road, although he was one that spun early. I don't know if he was still a lap down. So let's see. So Busher is 1 lap down. He is the last car only 1 lap down. So yeah, honestly, I'm not surprised that it sounds like apparently up and down the pit road that most of the teams are talking about the 1 stop. I just think that some should be going for the 2 stop. Again, I think if you can jump on this strategy, potentially pass some of these cars, have the lead when this thing all starts to cycle around, I like that idea. Chastain and Bell about to start fighting with William Byron here for the spot. Larson is away with a 2.5 second lead, though. That's going to be hard to catch no matter what. And Chastain in a logjam here because of AJ Allmendinger on the high line. He is currently 1 lap down. They go 3 wide here. So here we go. But yeah, so here we go. Wow, we have got a again, we are just entering that strategy window. We're a little bit past when I would have gone. I am curious to see that only Busher and Josh Berry have really reacted on that strategy. Would have expected a little bit more, but again, I guess it's ringing true that most of the field is trying this longer run idea. Cindric Gregson are a lap down, but I think they just got lapped on pace. Although Cindric was actually running good. I don't know why he's in 26th place. But yeah, so Busher and Berry are the last 2 cars. 1 lap down, but yeah, so they're going to a commercial break to try and be back for pit stops. So it seems like, again, they have the inside information you would imagine as to when people are anticipating a potential pit stop. So I think they have a decent idea that we're not getting a pit stop within the next 2 or 3 laps. So again, 80 to 90 is when I said that if you were trying to split the this run in half. Man, I am curious. So here we go. Oh man, here we go. Let's see. So right now we're at the official halfway point in the actual stage. But again, we had about 30 laps tacked onto this run. So realistically, you could run till about 30 to go in this stage if you really wanted to. But yeah, I'm curious to see what this run ends up looking like, though. Again, the splitting it in half just seems really. I mean, trying to go 65 laps. I mean, that would mean going till lap 95. I don't know. That would be another 10 laps. Do you really want to go that far on this set of tires? I mean, it's possible. I mean, most people did pit for tires at the last stop. I mean, you could. I'm curious to see if we end up having a caution before the pit stop window, or maybe even while people are pitting. That could be another layer that could end up, popping up. So, yeah, definitely interesting to see what ends up happening. Yeah, right now they're at commercial break, which means I'm left with no on-track clips to show or to kind of talk about. But yeah, so it looks like Chastain's still holding on to that 3rd spot over Christopher Bell for now. But Larson is really starting to stretch that lead, though. I hope the Busher pit strategy does end up working for him. At the very least, it won't be he won't lose time on it. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. All right, here we go. They're showing me on track stuff. So, wait a minute. Reddick went a lap down. Oh, McDowell is on pit road. Okay, Reddick pit. That's why Reddick's a lap down now. There we go. Holy, Reddick is on. I mean, I know he got some fresh tires, but he is flying. Is he back on the lead lap, or is that him? Was that him almost 2 laps down? Okay, that was him. Technically 2 laps down. Yeah, there we go. Truex, Kyle Busch is on pit road. Pit road just lighting up about 5 laps early compared to what I said for splitting it exactly in half. But and I'm not surprised to see them pitting a little early, trying to force the hand. There we go. There goes Christopher Bell. There goes William Byron. Let's see where Buescher ends up cycling out to. That's going to be the big question of the day here. Chastain is on pit road. Larson is on pit road. Here we go. Is Ty Gibbs still on track? Hamlin, Gibbs appear to still be on track. Ryan Blaney appears to still be on track. Oh, contact! Race leader with contact on pit road. Larson and Suarez had contact on pit road. Well, doesn't look like significant contact. It's not going to bring out a yellow, but it's going to slow Larson down. He certainly is going to lose, I think, a spot to Byron here in the long run. Question is, who else does he potentially lose spots to? But, yeah, right now we're waiting on seeing Hamlin, Gibbs, Blaney, and Austin Dillon. Those are your few that are still to come to pit road. Amarola is now hitting pit road. There goes Cindric coming to pit road. Let's see, where did Briscoe end up falling here? Or not Briscoe, Buescher. Buescher's going to be top 10 when this all cycles around. So, hey, you know what? He might have gotten himself some stage points because of that strategy. I like it. It may not be a strategy to win a stage here, but yeah, it might get him some stage points, which for Buescher, he needs as many as he can get to try and build a cushion to that cut line. Oh, and there's Ryan Blaney hitting pit road. Austin Dillon just came in as well. Denny Hamlin stays out. What are they talking about? They're saying that. Oh no, Blaney, no. Blaney coming back to pit road. He left the wedge wrench in the car. Ty Gibbs now on pit road, and Denny Hamlin now finally enters pit road. But talking about Chris Gabehart and Hamlin revolutionizing the strategy at this racetrack, that was Stenhouse in like 2018 or 2019 that revolutionized the strategy at this track. Stenhouse and Brian Patty did that. Gabehart helped after it happened, but waiting to see. Here we go. Here comes the 12 coming back to pit road to get the wedge wrench out. So there we go. Buescher is 7th right now. I will say, I think that they have finally kind of gotten this one right. Now, oh boy. Can Suarez pay Larson back here for the contact on pit road? Because Suarez is just about getting lapped by Larson here. That would be interesting to see. Oh, two. Hey, you know what? 10 tenths to the 12 crew there. They did everything they could to try and get that out there. You had two pit crew members ending up on their butts trying to get that wedge wrench out. But yeah. I'm surprised it didn't cost him any more time than it did. He only lost about 2 seconds on that contact. But yeah, here we go. Byron is right in behind Larson, and Suarez is right there. Come on. What's Suarez going to do to Larson? I'm curious here. He certainly isn't going to make it easy for Larson, at the very least. Now, because again, Larson should have known that Suarez was coming into the pits, or someone on Larson's spotter. Someone like Larson's spotter or crew chief should have known that the 99 was coming into pit. I don't necessarily blame Larson specifically for that, but the 5 car was definitely at fault. Because at that point, it really is more of a crew chief and spotter to let you know when it's safe to leave. And someone just didn't know that the 99 was going to be coming into pit there. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. But, yeah, everybody should be pretty close to done with their... So, Josh Berry up into the top 10. That's a big one to see from that cycle of pit stops. Again, we are going to have to wait and see because I believe they do have to make an extra pit stop. That second pit stop will come at about after another 40-something laps. So, they pit at about 70, so that would be pitting at about 110, 115-ish. So, I'm gonna say, if they pit at about 115 and they can run through the field, that will be curious to see. But yeah, Josh Berry, and... Wait, what happened to Buescher? Buescher lost like 6 spots. Can we talk about what happened to Buescher? What happened? As I say, Josh Berry's maintaining his spot in the top 10. What happened to Buescher? Please let me know. Oh, and Buescher's lost another spot to Kyle Busch. Why is Buescher losing so much ground? I'm really concerned here. Why is Buescher just losing ground like crazy? So they're going to commercial break here. Larson leads over William Byron. Christopher Bell maintains that 3rd spot. All 4 Hendrick cars up in that top 10. We haven't really been able to say that much with Josh Berry in the car, but more traditional short track. This is Josh Berry's cup of tea. He should be able to maintain this top 10 running spot until he has to pit again, I would imagine. Although it will get harder as they pit, or as more guys kind of get their tires kind of rubbed in here as his tires start to age. Okay, so what? Oh, Buescher. Did Buescher pit for his 2nd time? Buescher has to have an issue. He's 2 laps down now. What? This has gotta be this has gotta be an issue for Briscoe because he's now 2 laps down. Tire down, maybe? We'll have to wait and see. There isn't a yellow for it, so I do expect it to be a tire down. But who knows? There's a lot of things it could be. Denny Hamlin in 8th doesn't... Oh, and Berry is starting to slide backwards. Again, I said you run a little longer in this bit. That way you don't have to do a long run to the end of your stage. Because at the end of the stage, you are taking 4 tires no matter, but you don't want to have to run an entire tire window on. Like, the whole reason for pitting early, for doing the 3-stop, is so that you don't have to do any super long runs. You don't have to go 60 some laps on a set of tires. Even right now, while you have 50 to go, that's gonna be hard to overcome on that strategy there. If you did pit with 50 to go. Again, I'm not a fan of how early they did it. I think they went a little early on the jumping the gun, but ultimately you did end up dragging the rest of the field to pit. Yeah, I'm just kind of surprised that we haven't. Oh, and Barry is now outside the top 10. Uh-oh. Did Barry pit too? Let's see. Josh Berry is in 12th right now, so he hasn't pit. Curious to see what's happening there. But we have 2 Haas cars back up into the top 10. Ryan Preece having a pretty good showing at this point. Oh, okay. No, that's a replay of the earlier wreck when Blaney took out Barry. I thought they were showing a new wreck that had happened for why Barry lost a couple spots there. Because he lost quite a few spots pretty quickly. Now, he is on older tires than the rest of the field, so sliding back a few spots isn't unheard of. Ty Gibbs passed Ryan Preece here to take that spot in the top 10. Okay. Nice to see. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to know what happened to Buescher, though. Can we talk about that, Booth? Can we do a piece on Chris Buescher? Let's see. Here we go. There we go. There goes Buescher. He's looking to the inside on Kyle Larson. Did he pit? I mean, with the speed he's showing, he's challenging Larson. I would say yes, he probably did pit. But yeah, that's the big thing though, is you lose a lot of time at this track, it's going to hurt. So there we go. Man. That is a big gap of time. They're just kind of showing the old tires versus new tire comparison here. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm curious to know. Oh, did Josh Berry finally bite the bullet and pit? I think he did because he's now 2 laps down as well. Again, I find that a little early, but again, I'm not. It's not unheard of to pit this early. Curious to see what Buescher can do with his car for these remaining stages. Now, again, you're going to be down a set of tires. That's the big thing to remember as well, is that doing this strategy, you do use up an extra set of tires. You got an extra set of tires from the from the practice session. So maybe this is your chance to burn that set of tires, but yeah, you want to make sure you have a set of tires to try and maybe triple stint at the end of the race. And especially if what Buescher does is successful, if what Buescher and Berry did ends up doing well, you don't want to end up not being able to do it at the end because you're out of tires. That will be something for them to track. Wish they had a little option for me to just put up how many sets of tires they have left. Let's see. They used 1 in the first stage. So they used no, they used 2 sets of tires in stage one. Then the people who are splitting this long stage into half are using 3 sets of tires. The 3 stinters are using 4 sets of tires. Okay, they're talking about casual contact, yet the camera people are not showing us the contact with the with the wall. What on earth? They were talking about contact with the fence. I mean, it ended up being casual contact, so it wasn't serious. But I don't know what this production crew or whatever is doing. I mean, just doesn't seem to make a ton of sense. Here we go. Byron is right on top of Larson here, and they're right in behind a lap car in Noah Gragson right now. And oh, here we go! Byron gets to the inside on Larson. Larson is stuck up behind Gragson. Byron right now wants Gragson to stay in that outside lane and block Larson. That way, Byron can have this lead. Yeah, Larson's not going to let it go too easy. But yeah, I'm curious to see again how Buescher and all them do in the long run. But right now, we got a long way to go still. We got over 40 or we got just under 30, or just under 40 laps to go in this stage. All right, we'll do about every 10 laps or so. We'll check in on our bold strategies. So, where's Buescher? Oh, Buescher's 3 laps down. What on earth happened to Buescher? That can't be normal strategy. So, what's Barry? So Barry's 2 laps down. Okay. It seems weird. Something's off here. It's possible, but I don't know what Bubba does during the. Although I don't think the stage break is long enough to be eating some chicken during a yellow flag period, but I wouldn't put it past him, and that sounds like that actually sounds like a decent. I mean, I don't know how Fanta grape is, but having some chicken during a break doesn't sound like a bad deal. But yeah. Here we go. Let's see. I am curious though to see what ends up happening here. So Bell has passed Larson. Christopher Bell passed Larson. What? When did that happen? I must have missed that on the side by side there. And now they're getting ready to go full screen commercial, I guess. But yeah, so right now we're kind of. Hey, Patrick, how's it going? Who's your pick for the race, Patrick? Because I know you were asking me for fantasy help, and I kind of gave you the when in doubt, pick Toyota at this track. Oh yeah, I forgot. Check my almost forgot. Check my lineup in fantasy while I got a chance here. Harvick or Bell. All right. Well, Bell is right there at the front, but yeah, my pre race pick was Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch. I mean, but yeah, it has not looked as good for him. But yeah, I am excited to see Martin Truex Jr. having a good day here. What? Truex is up to third? What? When did that happen? I mean, I'm sure it happened somewhat recently, but Where did he come from? All right, my dad says Larson, even though that's not how you spell Larson, but yep. But yeah, Larson seems to be dropping spots. It seems like he's the exact opposite to how he was last stage. I'm gonna swap. I'm gonna unfortunately have to put Kyle Busch in my garage there. Oh, we got three wide. Three wide, and that's race lead. Christopher Bell just went for the race lead while I was updating my fantasy stuff, so wow. That was chaotic. And here we go, Byron back on the inside. They are fighting it out side by side. Looks like Bell is gonna clear Byron though. And now Truex is starting to close on the leaders now that they're fighting in lap traffic. Just gotta get my other lineup set. But I only gotta make sure I get them done before we get the second stage in here. Alright, so there we go. I am currently sitting 7th in my fantasy league, so not great, but could be worse. Alright, so here we go. Man, Bell and Byron, that fight though. I did not expect to see Byron get caught. We kind of expected that Byron was gonna, once he gets up there and catches, or once we saw Byron get clear of Larson, I thought we kind of all assumed, oh, there we go. Denny Hamlin just goes and passes Larson. Wow. Larson's dropping like a rock. Maybe you shouldn't have mentioned his name there, Dad, if you have him in your fantasy lineup, especially. Because, yeah, Larson has now dropped to 5th here. All right, Bell complaining about Harrison Burton's driving, which but yeah. Okay, so yeah, Harrison Burton was trying to block both lanes as a lap car. That's that's stupid. I mean, he was gonna get lapped anyway, but I don't blame him, especially where he was on the tail end of the lead lap. You can make a case for why he did it, but yeah, man. Whew. You got both Legacy Motor Club cars there in about 20 feet of space between them, which is just enough for Christopher Bell, who fit right through the middle there. But yep, now you got 3 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas in the top 4. What did I... Didn't I say 1, 2, and about 4, 5 for the 3 Gibbs, or for how I thought the 4 Gibbs cars could finish this race? Oh, and Ty Gibbs is up in the top 10. So I'm actually pretty happy about that prediction from earlier in the race. I said I didn't think they could go 1, 2, 3, 4. In particular, I didn't feel like Truex or Gibbs had necessarily the outright pace, and certainly I think Gibbs doesn't have the racing etiquette, or in particular the kind of the veteran patience to wait and make the right move at the right time. So I thought he might end up 5th or so. 5th or 6th. But yeah. So I think actually my predictions are coming out pretty decent here. But yeah. Right now you got Chastain and Bowman fighting in lap traffic. Larson lapping, or not Larson, sorry. Bell lapping Tyler Reddick up in 20th place. They are lapping a ton of people. It's going to be a tough fight. This is going to be a classic short track race. You're only going to have about half the field on the lead lap here. Let's see. Oh. All right. So, Josh Berry is up into the top. He's almost up to the lead lap again, which, I mean, he's gonna come up short of stage points here. I'm almost certain. He might get back on the lead lap though. So at the very least, he might not lose a ton from the strategy. But again, that's not really what you make this kind of gamble for. But here we go. Hamlin going around the outside on Byron. Byron stuck in behind the 45, who is a lap down. Here comes Josh Berry. He's trying to get that free pass from the 45. Reddick and Berry are fighting for the free pass. Berry takes it from him. Here we go. Here's the question. Who's the last car in lead lap? Who's the last car in lead lap? That is... Oh, Todd Gilliland has gone to the lap down. Berry needs to get to the 38. Where is the 38? He's the blue car up ahead of Hamlin, so he's got a bit of room to try and have to make up, but he's got a fast car and he's got some fresh rubber. Larson fades all the way to 7th. Wow, he is definitely fading. Curious to see what Hamlin does now that he's up to the... Well, he's about a second off of Bell, so Bell might not have a ton of challenge here for this finish. But so here we go. Brad Keselowski showing some speed up in the top 10. I'm kind of surprised to see Gibbs not putting up more of a fight in the top 10. But again, that's kind of what I said, is I didn't think he would have the patience to methodically work his way through, and he's got no pressure from behind to really push. So I don't mind Ty Gibbs just kind of riding right now and learning some patience here in this NASCAR Cup Series race at Richmond, because again, this is not necessarily a track that you can just it's not a Martinsville where you can just knock someone out the way, because you push them out the way, they probably have a shot at coming right back and doing the same thing to you. Whoa, Reddick got loose. He almost lost it. Yeah, yeah. Staying off Twitter yesterday, good choice. Josh Berry is up to the free pass spot. Michael McDowell now the next guy to get lapped. Oh boy. Please, Michael, just stay on the lead lap. Please. I wouldn't mind you getting the free pass, but if you can stay on the lead lap. Oh, Josh Berry unlapped himself. Can we, Fox, can we show the pass to get the 9 car back on the lead lap? I mean, I'm not a fan of the 9 car necessarily, but that's a big deal with Josh Berry getting back on the lead lap. There we go. So Christopher Bell, I don't think Bell has the run left to try and run down the 34 in McDowell. I think he's got to just worry about holding off the 11 here. So yeah, man. Whew. This is going to be an interesting one as we get down to the end of stage 2 here. And what's the final stage? It's 170 laps, so you run... I mean, you're going to have to break it up into 3 parts, so what would that be? Dividing that up evenly. So that'd be 85 laps per run. You really can't even... or that would be if you wanted to do it on one stop. You really can't do that. 56 laps. Okay, 56 laps for a 3-stopper. Here we go. Hamlin to the inside on Christopher Bell. Hamlin all the way up, and he takes spot number 1 here on the racetrack. So here we go. Man, this is actually a pretty good yeah, again, like the big thing is that if you can't, like Josh Berry made up a bit of ground on that strategy, but if you can't get to points, there isn't a ton of reward to doing that strategy now. Here we go. Hamlin wins the stage over Bell, Byron Truex, Chastain, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, and Ty Gibbs. I like the fact that Barry was able to gain some spots. I just feel like if you're gonna do that strategy, you need to really earn some points, though. Yeah, I know he's up he's up what is that 9 spots from where he was running, so it certainly didn't hurt, but it's just kind of one of those things that you would like to imagine that he gains some. Because if he does it in the next stage and gains, let's say, 9 spots, he'll finish inside the top 10, which isn't bad, especially for a backup driver, but for just kind of looking at it as an option for general strategy, though, you'd like to imagine that you can gain that much on the racetrack for most of these drivers. But again, it feels nice to actually be able to compete, though, on the track versus like being able to actually go up there and pass people. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's kind of hard to tell what the proper strategy is until it's over. Like again, we're gonna have to wait and see on this one. It's not gonna be something that we can say what the right strategy is until we see what the checkered flag and where the yellows fall. But again, in the stages, it's all about getting that top 2. Exactly. Especially for someone who hasn't had the car to compete really for the in his time substituting in the 9 it at what was it, Las Vegas, or was it after Vegas that trying to remember when Elliott got hurt. I think it was at Vegas that he got hurt. But yeah, you really haven't had a spectacular drive where Barry's really been able to pass a ton of cars, so him being able to go up there and actually pass people, it would feel really nice, and it'd be a nice boost of confidence for the young guy. Although he's not all that young, but for a guy who doesn't have the experience of these cars, it will be a nice confidence boost to go up there and pass people for once. But again, in the stages, it's mainly about trying to get the points. And if you don't get the points, it's hard to justify the strategy call. I guess it comes down to, again, how much you value confidence. And again, how it ends up affecting how your drive is for the remainder of the race. Because losing the set of tires is the other thing. Because now Josh Berry has one less set of tires to work with for this final stage. So I don't think the tire sets are going to be a problem quite yet, but if we get a rash of yellows, it could be. So, yep, here we go. There we go. Denny Hamlin able to win the stage, which is really nice. Is that his first stage win? I'm trying to think if he's won a stage yet or not. I don't think he has. Let me see. Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin has not won a stage yet this year. So that is Denny Hamlin's first stage win of the year. Some good points for him. So Justin Haley still has -7 points on the. Wait, where is Justin Haley running? Because he still has -7 points, and he hasn't earned any stage points to my knowledge today. Is he gonna still be negative points going into the next race? Justin Haley is. I don't see Justin Haley on this list. I know he's here though. Give me a second. Oh, there he is, 23rd. So if he finishes roughly around in the mid-20s, he will be positive points finally. And again, we're gonna have to wait and see if he gets all his points back next week. Because if so, that'll be a nice boost towards getting back into that playoff mentality. But again, right now it's pretty much win or bust. Here's a question: if you get penalized and you end up with I mean, I know this is a super hypothetical, but if you win a race, but by the end of the season you end up negative points due to penalties, I feel like you shouldn't get into the playoffs, but the question could be posed there at least. Again, you shouldn't be getting that many points in terms of penalties. Hamlin wins the race off pit road. It's curious to think about at least. Again, we probably will never see that kind of situation play out because that's a lot of points penalties to lose that many points in terms of penalties. But yeah, interesting race though so far. Hope you guys are enjoying this one. Yeah, curious to see what ends up happening for the remainder of this one. Oh yeah, you and the 22 car was, yeah, it was mechanical problems and slow performance. But yeah. All right, so I think this is up to date. So Hamlin, Byron, Truex, Bell, 3 Joe Gibbs cars in that top 4 to start the stage. That's going to be curious to see what they can do now that they kind of are starting to get their own stranglehold on this stage. There we go. Chastain 7th. Let's see. Ty Gibbs is back in 14th. It's going to be a little hard to overcome that dropping back a little bit in terms of that, but it certainly isn't impossible for him to rebound. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, until we get that green flag and see how his driving is. But here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I am curious to see how this race ends up ending. Honestly, though, we're 2 stages in and we're only 2 hours down, so this race is actually feeling really decent on pacing. Of course, 100 yellows at the end of the race could make this race pace feel a lot worse, but so far, I will say this race pace has actually been pretty decent. Keselowski up into spot number 6. That's not too bad. Bubba Wallace up in the top 10. He's the 4th Toyota up into that top 10. So there's 4 Chevys, 4 Toyotas, 2 Fords in the top 10. So here we go. Hoping to have some other stuff ready to go for next weekend at Bristol, but until then, we will make do with what we got here. Huh. That is strange to see that many different. To see 20 drivers earn points last week in the stages. It's a fun strategy. But yeah. Curious to see what the three Toyota strategy is. I would say, looking at this at the choose, I think Truex checks up, lets Bell down into that single file line around the bottom. Uh, Hamlin takes off to try and help make that gap as big as possible for Bell to try and slide into. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see, but here we go. Green, 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 and oh wow, Bell slipped a bunch, and there's a massive gap behind Truex. I mean, hey, you know what? Not exactly how I would have imagined it being scripted, but yeah. Ultimately, Bell did get in a single file line with his teammates for now, but we'll have to wait and see here. Here we go. Bell, or so Logano and or not where? Why am I saying where? Josh Berry there was 3 wide with Logano and somebody else. But yeah, man, Christopher Bell does not seem good on the short run for whatever reason. He is just dropping like a rock right now. But here we go. Byron settles into the second spot here. Truex third. Bowman up to fourth. Brad Keselowski stabilizes fifth. Oh! Backstretch. All right, so some issues between Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. That's a rivalry that's gone back a number of years at this point. But yeah, I'm curious to see what ends up happening here. But yeah, it is curious to see what ends up happening here. Oh man, Kyle keeps squishing. We've seen what Joey Logano will do if you squeeze him into the fence. I mean, um, he punted Byron for that last year when he got squeezed into the wall on a restart. He ended up going and punting him right back to try and get the spot that he felt he deserved. But we'll have to wait and see here. So here we go. We're having some more issues with Keselowski's car. So Keselowski might be having some trouble keeping this thing in fourth gear. So yeah, curious to see what ends up happening here. So here we go. Let's see. I'm curious to see what ends up happening here. This whole thing about the gear shift, that's strange. Because again, with the sequential gear shift, it's like, what do you do to stop it from shifting up or down? That does not make a whole lot of sense as to what you can do here. So 13 lead changes across 7 leaders. All right. It's been a pretty decent race, honestly, based on the metrics. Man, here we go. So yeah, they're just listening to a few of the different drivers talking about the difference in shifting at these short tracks, and yeah. And I'm saying Briscoe is the main one to kind of predict the shifting that they were going to be doing, and Briscoe is doing a lot of the shifting early on. So glad to see. Honestly, I feel like the short tracks, at least this race, it feels better. Not sure as to how much of this is different, but we'll have to wait and see, obviously. Until we get to, I think Martinsville is going to be the big thing where we see is this aero package truly making much difference? Because Richmond and Phoenix, it almost feels like any aero package you throw at those tracks, they're going to race very similarly. Like, the biggest thing is night versus day for those tracks. That's really the only thing that affects them in terms of racing quality and the way that you race them. Truex makes the pass for second there on William Byron. But yeah, and say because Martinsville was the main track that we saw visibly get worse last year with this new aero packet or with the old aero package that we used to have, because it was impossible to pass, especially when it was cold at night for Martinsville. Now we don't have a night race here. So here we go. Man, this it's getting interesting, that's for sure. Again, we don't have a lot of. All right, so what was the laps that I said? So it's about 55, 56 laps that you need to run. So we're only about halfway to pit stops in this stage. So it's going to be a little ways up the road for some stage breaks. Christopher Bell hasn't really recovered much. We'll have to wait and see if his long run car maybe comes in to factor. And they're going to commercial break, which means I got to try and find something to talk about. But yeah, so Kyle Busch has drifted all the way back to 18th. Only 20 cars on the lead lap, which is not very good. Buscher is curious. Like, why is he 3 laps down? What happened to the strategy that? Because, and I think that's the other thing. Like, yeah, Barry grabbed a ton of points. Wait, last pit lap. That's what we can check. Oh wait, no, because they all got leveled off. Never mind. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can see anything different with the last pit lap for Chris Buescher. Is that 254? 1 second. I think it is a 254. So, did Buescher already pit this stage? That seems really early. Not just seems, it is really early for any sort of strategy. So he has to have had a problem. I just haven't heard it. I just haven't heard anything about what happened to him. he just kind of disappeared into the back of the into the back there, and yeah, we haven't really heard anything about it. Feels like it should have been more of a story, but that's Fox for you, missing out on a good story. But yeah, I mean, they've been missing storylines all day. Ryan Priest up into that top 10. That's pretty good run for a for one of the short track specialists. I feel like he is probably the. I would say he is the short track specialist out of the entire Cup Series. Most everybody has a lot of different talents, but Ryan Priest is one of the specific short track specialists. I would put Christopher Bell probably on that list, even though again he's pretty good at a lot of different types of tracks. I would say that Bell, Priest, they're kind of your short. They're specifically short track specialists for the most part in terms of their skill set. I guess maybe you can put Briscoe in that spot too. Although again, I would say that his dirt or not dirt, his road course skills make him a little bit different. Showing the Bristol dirt, which is going to be interesting to see. I'm excited to see that one. I can't wait to see what this looks like on TV. Honestly, like the dirt race has been good in person the last couple years, but I'm curious to see what it looks like on TV. Oh, there's some shade showing up in turn 4 there. I'm curious to see what that does because that could provide a difference in temperature potentially over the course of these final 120, 130 laps we got or so. So here we go. We actually have a decent. Now, again, I'm surprised that Christopher Bell hasn't been able to make up more ground since the restart. I know he drifted back initially, but kind of expected that at some point he would make up some of that ground. But yeah, right now it's just kind of Denny and Truex just kind of minding the gap at the front. Let me check the fantasy league. That's something I can talk about. Where's fantasy at? Live race results. All right, so hey, Patrick's up into the third place. Not sure. So yeah, we got some decent. I'm currently sixth place, which is not great. We got a lot of people who looks like they forgot to update lineups today because yeah, there's some low scores. But yeah, definitely seems interesting though. Looking at the fantasy points, you got Tip, you got in tying with Keystone in third place. You got Dave Bird second. You got my mom up there leading the points. You got Shane. You got Shane W up in the top 5 as well. Oh man. Apologize for any earphone users that just got a loud sneeze in their ear. But here we go. Are they really gonna say they got some historical stuff, I guess, but yeah, I mean that is the big thing is at this rate, like again, we said 56 laps, so we got another 5 laps, or not 5 laps. We got 10 laps till we see pit stops. We got about 10 laps left in this thing before we start getting some strategy. So again, we're at that. Nice. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Hey, Christopher Bell made a pass. Actually, Alex Bowman dropped back 2 spots. I don't know what happened. But, yeah. Hey, Christopher Bell back up into the top 5. Curious to see what ends up happening. Lap traffic, that's a question. Where's lap cars? So, a lot of them have 4 sets, some have 3. Yeah, I think you're going to make 2 stops if this is green flag. So, no one should have a problem if there's one unexpected yellow near the end of the race. But that's about 290. That's right about where I would go. So Larry McRound says 290. I'd probably go 285, try and jump in just before him, but try and force his hand. All right, so Todd Gilliland is about to go a lap down, so we do have some cut line stuff that's going to be pretty interesting here. So here we go. Man, I'm curious to see what ends up happening here. Why 288? Because I'm looking at this, I would go. Again, I would probably go 55, 55, and then do like 58, I think, to the checkers, if I'm not mistaken on my math for this run. But yeah. So I guess if you're going 288, that'd be going. Um, so you'd be going 58 on your first pit stop, and then what? 55, 55 on your final 2 stops? Yeah, and say again, if I'm especially if I'm say someone, if I'm someone, let's say Harvick for example, I don't have really a teammate too close to me. I mean Priest in 10th, yeah, maybe, or if I'm Keselowski in 8th, let's say Keselowski in 8th because Busher really isn't in the field at this point. Basically, I would be looking to try and jump in as early as possible where I feel like I could drag people to pit road. And I feel like Keselowski is in the fight enough to where he could drag people to pit road, but he doesn't necessarily have teammates that he would. Because again, like teammates and whatnot, it's interesting to see how they could potentially interfere. Although again, you don't need teammates to pit with you. I'm curious to see how that happens. But yeah, Harvick dropping back there. He's now all the way back outside the top 5. Larson just went and passed him too. So I am curious to see what Byron. I'm gonna say Byron has lost about 3.5 seconds to the leaders here. Again, like I don't have any of their data to know like exactly where the tire fall off is, because I feel like on that last one, especially for the people who did who did 2 stops here, I feel like you have enough data to potentially kind of know where the big fall off happens for the tires. So here we go. Driver's getting up on AJ Allmendinger, he pits at 86. But he's 2 laps down. Dang. Okay, so never mind. But yeah, again, I think you're gonna have to do the 3 stop if you want to try and win this race. Because I think everybody's gonna be doing 3. I don't see any way. What would 4 be? I mean, 4 you would have already had to have made your first pit stop by now. So I guess nobody is doing it. I guess the big question is, does somebody try and stretch it 85 laps? Because that's the window you'd need to go in order to make it on 1 stop. There we go. Truex on the pit road. There we go. Say, Truex comes pit road at. Good call there, Patrick. The 288. I would have tried to beat. I would have tried to jump in before you, but again, we'll have to wait and see if the early pit stops end up prevailing or if the later pit stops prevail. Because in that last stage, Hamlin pitted later than Bell and was able to roar past him at the end of the stage. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I would have wanted to jump in there early. I would be curious to see, though, how many drivers end up going and trying to potentially extend it, maybe run to lap 300, so running 60, 65 laps, maybe even 70 laps before they end up pitting. I'm curious to see if any end up doing that, but again, you're risking a lot there because you're going to lose time. But being able to shorten up that final segment for yourself could be a really big advantage. The shorter that segment can get. So there we go. Keselowski on pit road. Ryan Preece is on pit road. But yeah, I am curious to see if this race going to go green to the checkers, because that would be interesting. Huh. So here we go. Waiting to see where the oh, there we go. Hamlin is on pit road. So is Bell. So I think that's most everybody has come to pit road now. Bubba and Logano now on pit road, I believe. Yep, there we go. Bubba and Logano just came to pit road, and that should be everybody having cycled to pit road now. So, yep, there we go. We're going to have to wait and see, but that should be finally cycling it. So, once Truex jumps back to the lead, we should start to see exactly who all is lead lap now. Now, again, this is short term. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, we're gonna have to wait one more lap to actually see it because technically, at the line, Bubba was still leading when they cross start finish line. There we go. Now it's up to date. We've cycled it around. First guy in was Truex, and Truex is now the race leader. I'm surprised Hamlin Hamlin lost a lot of spots and a lot of time on pit road. Now he's back there with Ty Gibbs. Maybe he could coach Ty Gibbs through this field. Reddick way down the order. So we're back to about 11 cars on the lead lap. McDowell and Berry are going to be some traffic for Truex right away here, though. Oh, Martin Truex Jr. has an issue. Or not Truex, Bubba has an issue, I mean. Sorry, I was just looking at Truex on the leaderboard, but then saw my friend mentioning that Bubba's having an issue. Wow. Again, it feels weird that Truex hasn't won for over a year now, because he didn't win at all last year. And yeah. But yeah, so right now, three Hendrick cars on Truex. That's going to be an interesting fight at the front. Christopher Bell in fifth. He is going to be trying to fight his way through this field to get there. Chastain in sixth. That's interesting. Three Stewart Haas cars in the top 10. That is refreshing to see. It is refreshing to see three Stewart Haas cars in the top 10 because we have not seen Stewart Haas looking good as an organization in a little while. But yeah, again, we're gonna have to wait and see how this all ends up cycling out. But it looks like for now. So I guess, Patrick, we'll go with your strategy. Okay, so you pitted it at 288, which means that you pitted at. So if you pitted at 288, you had 122 laps left. So let's see. Let's plug that into our calculator and let's see. You're making two more runs. So you'd ideally run about 61 laps per run for the remainder of the race. So a little bit longer stints. Maybe a little bit longer than we initially wanted, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, if that ends up playing out. But yeah, looks like you'd want to run about 61 laps if you were part of the group that pitted on 288, which was Truex. So you're looking at 345. Let's see. 345 for a max. Let's see. So you pitted at 288. And your max pit is 345. So that would be a little short. I think you need to go a little. I think you know go a little. Oh, we got. Trouble. That's gonna be yellow. Yep, there we go. Yellow flag flies for Noah Gragson. Well, I guess reset the strategy because pretty much everybody probably coming in for 4 tires if they got the extra set. I'm curious to see what ends up happening, but here we go. We got the yellow though. Who comes to pit road here? Oh man. Here we go. So we got the pit stops coming up here. So yeah, I mean, again, this race is definitely a tail here. So, do you pit here? I mean, I think the big thing is how many sets of tires do the leaders have. Hey Fox, here's an idea. Instead of showing us what each manufacturer is, because that really isn't important here, please put up how many sets of tires they have remaining, because that's going to be the big thing that determines whether I would go to pit road if I'm the crew chief or not. If I'm playing, let's say I'm playing armchair crew chief, because that's basically what I'm doing here. Yeah. Yeah, so if I'm Truex, I pretty much have to stay out. I think I'm. Because I. No, here we go. Truex comes to pit road. That means Truex is going to be in a very tight box to make it to the end of this race. So yeah, so you pit now, and then you pit at 350. I think that's your, or you pit around 350, maybe a little before. I think you maybe even go 355 if you want to stretch it, try and make that final run shorter. Because you don't want to go too long, obviously, and you don't want to go too long and end up losing time on your new tires. But you also don't want to end up giving up too much time on the run here. All right, so here we go. I will say the team that's helped probably the most is the Stuart Haas Fords, because you have Amarola, you have Amarola and Priest and Harvick all up in that top 10, or at least they were in the top 10 when you pit. Oh, whoops! I just realized I started moving the wrong one. Uh oh, I gotta make sure I get this realigned. All right, let's see. There we go. That's pretty well lined up. Kind of wish I had a little more ground on the side there, but it's all right. So there we go. Yeah, so I'm rolling Harvick in the top 10 still. Ooh, we got Denny Hamlin back up into that top 10. Ty Gibbs to 12th. Chase Briscoe. So all the Haas cars are in the top 15. That's not too terrible for them, considering how they had been going. Harrison Burton back on lead lap. Tyler Reddick back on the lead lap, it looks like. But yeah, it's interesting to see. Again, I would probably run till, honestly, maybe even 360 or so. Yeah, it's all about trying to make this final run short. It's the big thing I'm looking at. So there we go. So I know you want the trophy, Patrick. I'm trying to get you the trophy here. But yeah, so here we go. My pit call here would be to, again, I want to run later in the stage to have fresher tires towards the end of the race. Now, if I'm Truex here, I stretch this probably even another. I'd probably go till 370 even, trying to stretch it out and either waiting for a caution or to pit very late. That way, if we do get a late caution after I have to pit to still break up the stage, that way I can have that extra set of tires in the pits to potentially work with. But yeah, right now though, got to restart within 100 to go. So we are closing in on the end of this race. It's been about 2.5 hours. So yeah, again, it feels like it's good pacing. Honestly, hasn't felt like it's taken too long. There's been a little bit of kind of waiting for pit stops, but we really only end up waiting about 20, 30 laps, which is only about 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, here we go. So Truex has 300 cars behind him. That's going to be the hard part, is having those 300 cars, because if there is somebody to hold up Truex, yet you got potentially they can go too wide behind him, and no matter where he goes to block, somebody's going to be trying to get a quarter panel on him. So again, Byron and Larson looking really good. Bowman too, honestly, but especially Byron and Larson though, they have looked just as good as they did at Phoenix. Honestly, okay, maybe not quite that good, but yeah. There we go. Denny Hamlin working his way up through the field. That's nice to see. Hamlin up into the top 10. He's going to be trying to get up to Christopher Bell, and then the two of them hopefully can make their way through the field together. Bell can find the hole, and then hopefully Hamlin can follow him through, I guess. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, obviously, on this one. So here we go. Let's see. Man, Hamlin, he's still stuck behind Keselowski. That's the hard part here. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle here to the end. Because again, Truex has one set of tires left. If you have one set of tires left, you got to be very careful about where you use them. Because yeah, they can make it on fuel to the end of this thing. The biggest question is going to be, can they make it on the tires without losing too much ground to the people who have the extra stop? So that's the big thing. We haven't really seen anybody rocket through on the fresh tires. Now, we haven't seen anybody super competitive. The most competitive guy we saw was Josh Berry, and he gained 9 spots. But that was also 9 spots in the mid to back half of the pack. Because that's the other thing I will say, is it is hard to gain 9 spots in the top 10. Like, I don't think Hamlin can pull that same strategy and gain 9 spots to get to the front. So that's going to be a question here. If they can string it along here. So yeah, I don't really know what the strategy is here. Now, if you have two sets of tires, I think you just go for the safe, break it up around 50s, around 350, 360. I think you pit somewhere around there. If, again, you have two sets of tires. That way you have an extra set if you get a late yellow with, like, say, 20 or 30 to go. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the big thing, especially if I have two tires or if I have two sets of tires and I know the leader doesn't, like Trix doesn't, I would definitely go ahead. I would definitely go ahead and make sure I'm doing the 50% to try and cut the to try and pressure Trix. But yeah, I mean, man, again, it's an interesting fight to see. But again, here we go. Hamlin and Logano now side by side for ninth. That's I say Hamlin's kind of going the wrong direction. I thought he was going to be able to maybe make some inroads here on the top 10, but he's actually losing ground now. It is a curious state to see what all is going on here. I really don't know what is going to happen here. Oh, Christopher Bell makes the pass on Kevin Harvick. Okay, that's something that happened. So there we go. Kevin Harvick going back to seventh. Christopher Bell up to sixth. Now he's got about 3/10 of a second up the road before he gets to Chastain. And then there's about another second between Chastain and Bowman. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. That's for sure. But yeah, again, I just don't know what I want to do for a strategy. Again, it probably depends mostly on which car I am and how many sets I have left of tires. Because again, I can't have my cake and eat it too, obviously. I can't have done triple in all three stages and still have a set of tires left. So at some point, like again, Trix does not have the tires really to do a triple here and still be safe. Because yeah, I mean, again, where he only has one set of tires left, I don't see him. Realistically, I don't see him gaining this, but we'll have to wait and see here. Alright, so Trix is gapping Byron a bit. Gapping him about half a second now. Or he's up to a full second. But here we go. Yeah, I am surprised that Hamlin hasn't passed much for cars, and he actually got passed back by the one guy he did pass. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what the optimal strategy here is. So, yeah, I mean, no one has the speed to just upright pass, it doesn't look like. But it looks like everybody's super similar on pace, that until we get to lap traffic, it's hard for people to close in on others. um, Kurt just called themselves really smart guys in the booth. I think there's only one. I think there's two guys that are really smart up in that booth, and it's not Clint Boyer. But here we go, up to fifth for Christopher Bell. He's making the pass on Ross Chastain. He made the pass. So here we go. So I mean, right now it is a big question mark as to what strategy you do. If you don't have the if you don't have your if you don't have the extra set of tires, I don't think it's even much of a question. I think you gotta stick to the strategy. I think you gotta do the pit once, and again, I would pit late, trying to minimize the chance that you get bit by a yellow. But the problem is that if there's a yellow within 30 laps to go, you can't stretch it to there, probably, on your tires. Like, it would be hard to stretch it beyond to 370. That'd be hard to stretch it to. Here we go. Christopher Bell now looking to the inside on Alex Bowman. So it looks like Christopher Bell's car is coming to life. Here we go. Christopher Bell's car is now coming to life. That's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, I think again, 350 to 360 would be my ideal range to see people pit. Again, if you have the extra set of tires, I'd say there's no reason for you not to pit somewhere between 350 and 360 on the run. Again, like that's kind of the biggest question is, do you have the ability to do that? And I think realistically, yeah, you do. So here we go. All right, Noah Gregson checked and released from the infield care center. Nice to know he's okay. After whatever it was that wrecked his car, I don't even know. Did we ever figure out what happened to him? Was it a blown tire or what ended up happening? Did he pancake the wall? I feel like we had to have found that out, but I don't remember what they said. Because we've been just running so many numbers. Bell is looking at third. He's up to third place almost. Oh, and Harrison Burton is still being a jerk out here. But yeah, Ty Gibbs in 12th. That's not too bad. Again, seeing some of these guys hanging around, which is good. Here we go. Christopher Bell the third. He's making those inroads. And on the long run, I think Christopher Bell is in the catbird seat. He's got the fast car. On the long run, if we don't have a late yellow, Christopher Bell could win this race. I think Byron has too much of a short run car, and Briscoe's on pit road. He is a couple laps early. So Christopher Bell is a little early on for what I would do, but so here we go. All right. Ryan Preece, here comes Kyle Busch. Again, if you have that extra set of tires, I see no reason you shouldn't be on pit road between this lap and 10 laps from now. You shouldn't be on pit road any later than lap 360 if you have an extra set of tires for a late yellow. If this is your last set of tires, yeah, maybe just continue to try and stretch it a little bit. Here comes Byron to pit road. William Byron to pit road. Again, Gonna have to wait and see here. What happens here? We're gonna have to wait and see. No yellow, which is good. Yeah, that was kind of the worst fear for everybody when they get this. When we get these pit stops, is that we get a yellow in the middle of the cycle and someone ends up stuck 2 laps down that doesn't deserve it. There we go again. Truex is going to be the interesting thing because I think Truex should stretch it because he doesn't have that extra set of tires. Bell should be on pit road within 5 laps minimum. Oh wait, Truex is on pit road. Okay, then nobody should really have a reason to be out there still. Like Bell, you got to be on pit road, especially where your car is good on long run. You want this to be as long a run as possible, almost. I don't know. I say I didn't even notice, but Truex, yeah, he was the one up on the screen they were showing. Here comes Harvick back out onto the track, I believe this is. But yeah, Bell, especially if you're getting held up in lap traffic, just pit. Save yourself the trouble. Don't lose time in lap traffic on old tires. But yeah, I mean, say, why is Bell still out there? For some of these other guys, McDowell, Berry, Gilliland, I get it. They're trying to catch a yellow. They're trying to catch a yellow, catch a bunch of these guys potentially either a lap down and or, yeah, 1 lap down. Because if they can catch a bunch of these guys a lap down, they can get a good one. But we'll have to wait and see here. So Byron back on the lead lap. That's going to put him as race leader if we do get a yellow. And here comes Christopher Bell to pit road. So 2 laps earlier, and William Byron was able to pass Martin Truex. You know, we're gonna have to wait and see how far Bell drops here, pitting late, and if he can ultimately recover the gap that he loses in this. Denny Hamlin comes to pit road. Okay, I didn't realize he hadn't pit yet either. So again, McDowell. I don't really know why Logano. Okay, there we go. Logano's on pit road. So yeah, McDowell, Gilliland, Berry. Those three, I definitely understand them basically just trying to make this a pit stop thing. So there we go. Keselowski comes to pit road. So again, Berry, McDowell, and Gilliland. I understand why they're staying out here, trying to make this work. But yeah. Let's say if you can run, say, hey, if we can run to lap 7, if we can run 10 more laps and get a yellow, this will give Michael McDowell to Todd Gilliland this track position to potentially pull off some magic here. It won't. Let's say you weren't going to win this race under normal circumstances, so if you can stretch this out to a yellow for these guys, I don't blame them for giving it a try. This is actually a pretty interesting option. So yeah, here we go. Here we go. Curious to see how long it'll take for William Byron to pass Gilliland. Because that's the big thing we're going to have to wait and see. Because Gilliland has about 2 seconds on William Byron here. But yeah, so right now, Christopher Bell, he lost 8 seconds with pitting later. But again, the question is whether or not those fresher tires late in the run will help. And again, the question is, when do we get our yellow? Do we get a late yellow? Do we go green to the finish? Because if we go green to the finish, that could be interesting. Hey, Larry Mack, what are the trends of the race? Come on. I'm waiting for Larry Mack's trends of the race. I know he doesn't usually do them till 10 to go, but I'd like to know the trends here soon. I mean, because right now I think this is a good time to mention when the last yellow typically comes, because this race has had a very green flag feel to it. I mean, we've had 2 cautions for cause. We've had three. We've had 3 cautions for cause all day long. 1 in each segment. So, is there really a reason to expect this to change here? Gilliland pit. Oh no, Gilliland just got passed. Okay, so they passed Gilliland, and now they're going to be catching McDowell here next. So, let's see. Where can I'd like to see McDowell and Gilliland get this yellow to help them out. I just don't see it happening here. And here comes, Byron is right about, is getting ready to breathe down the neck of the number 34 car here. It's going to be interesting. Here we go. All right, so they have passed now, and they are going for the race lead. All right, so Byron has gotten back to the race lead. Now, again, this yellow could still help because they are way up from where they were running at the start of this pit cycle. And we are getting into that window again. If we get a late yellow, the problem is you're probably gonna be the yellow if you're one of the guys staying out on tire or on old tires. It's increasingly likely that you will end up being the yellow, not just getting a yellow, which is unfortunate. So a 6-lap pair of scuffs is what Truex has. Here we go. Thank you, Larry Mack. So the trend is 84 lap runs to the checkers. So we've had our last caution, probably. Here we go. NTJ pins Byron behind a lap car, number 3. That's Austin Dillon there. So here we go. Byron, though, able to hold him off on the outside here. Yeah, so Corey LaJoie on new tires versus 2 guys fighting for the lead here. Oh, we got the spin. It's yes. Here we go. McDowell's got a shot at this race. Woohoo! Everybody needs to pit here. It is 28 to go. Y'all went way too long to not pit here. There's no way to see how many laps since last pit stop, so I guess I could do the math. But this saves those guys. Barry, McDowell, those 2 are top 5 right now. Come into pit road, get a good stop, and you've got an extra set of tires. So I'm excited for McDowell to potentially have a shot to fight for a top 5 at a short track. I mean, this is interesting. Again, so here we go. So, say Truex out of tires. I don't know who else out of tires. That's the big question. Here we go. A green flag or yellow flag stops here. It, I am curious to see what this ends up pulling out, but I want to see if I want to see McDowell gain some spots here on pit road. All right, so Truex is gonna go with the 6 lap scuffs. Here we go. It's gonna be curious. Uh-oh. We lost a connection for a moment there. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. But yeah. Here we go. Who stays out? Does anybody? Say, if you're out of tires, I don't know. I think you probably have a better set like with Truex. You've got 6 lap scuffs that are nice and cold. I'm curious to know if like they would ice bath them or something here. I want to see Barry or McDowell fight for this win. That'd be really cool to see. And I say he has that 9 pit crew, so again he could very well fight for the win. Let's see, race off pit road. It's gonna be Barry actually out second. There we go. McDowell loses 4. No, McDowell loses 4 spots. No. Okay, so Josh Berry is going to be the interesting one. You've got a rookie to the Cup Series starting in spot number 2. Well, not necessarily starting in spot number 2, but he's got second choice. I'm curious to see, but I really want to see. I want to see McDowell be able to put it up some sort of fight here. Denny Hamlin speeding. No, 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 no. He was in my fantasy lineup. No. Say, so that's a backup crew chief on the 9 car with a backup driver, and they are running second place right now. Just saying, he got so it's a backup driver, a backup rookie, or it's a backup rookie driver, a backup crew chief, and they've had a spin already. Now, if we have another 10 lap run and a yellow, this could get really interesting because you have 3 cars with tires. But I don't see that being a factor. But we're gonna have to wait and see here. Yep. So, I'd love to see McDowell win this thing, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Not from 8th or 9th. But as I say, Barry from second, I think could very well do it though. And McDowell, I think he could very easily stay in there for a top 10, maybe even fight for a top 5. But he can't win it from there. I don't think. I think that's too far back. So here we go. Is it choose cone? Yep, there we go. So Barry goes outside. Truex goes to the inside second row. That's interesting. Looks like most everybody's just taking shortest line available, and if it's even, you take the inside. Oh no, Gilliland takes outside as earliest line available. Doesn't want to start behind the 14? Not sure why, but here we go. We're getting ready for a good restart. Of course, if you guys are excited for this final restart, or potentially final restart, leave a like on the stream, of course, so that we can hopefully get as many people in here talking as possible. But it's going to be interesting here. Pace car's going to dive for cover, and we are about to unleash these cars for a big run to the checkers here. We got 22 laps to go, 21 at the line. Green, green, green. I say Larson's is gonna be the interesting one because he has the experience to win this. And no, William Byron goes around. They got Bell got into the back of William Byron and turned him around. I don't know. It looked like he got loose, but I didn't think he got hit. All right, this is gonna pace it around, and this is gonna burn a few extra laps. Gonna help. Oh, McDowell's up to 7th. He got track position on that. Wait, what? Can McDowell gain some more spots here? Maybe make a run at this? Come on, McDowell. I'd love to see that. Come on, let's get all 4 of my guys to the playoffs this year. Allmendinger, he'll get in with a road course later this year. McDowell, if he could get in at a short track, that would be a lot of validation there. Oh yeah. So Bell was 4 wide and being. Yeah. I was trying to give too much room to the one car. I don't know about if that was disrespect. I think that was just not. I just think that was bad spatial awareness, honestly. Yeah. It was definitely Bell's fault, and I wouldn't blame William Byron for being mad at Christopher Bell over that. That's just poor spatial awareness, though. It was not a lack of respect thing. He was not trying to make a block there. He was. I think he was just trying to make sure he gave Chastain enough room because they were going into that corner, and if you don't give Chastain the room, he will take it. Yeah, it was a spatial awareness issue. So here we go. Let's see what McDowell can do here from 7th. I'm curious. Curious if this is going to end up giving any extra help maybe to McDowell. Now that we're going to be all the way up inside the top spots here. This is going to be a fun run to the checkers no matter how this goes. Who you guys rooting for here as we get to the end? We got Larson, we got Barry, we got Truex, Chastain, Christopher Bell still in the fight. I feel like not many people are going to be rooting for Bell after kind of the issue there with a Hendrick car, but Harvick in 6th maybe, McDowell in 7th. That's the guy I'm probably going to be rooting for emotionally. Although I think Barry would be cool, and realistically, I see Larson probably running away with it. But yeah, then you got Bowman, Amarola, Gibbs up in the top 10. Do you see someone coming from further back than 10th maybe to win this? I think it's going to be hard to come from further back than 10th to win this thing, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. But here we go. We're getting ready for 17 to go. It'll be 16, 15 to go is when we're probably going to restart this thing, it looks like. Here we go. Also, a reminder quickly that we are back to the shorter restart zone. We had a bigger restart zone at the other ovals on the year, but then they determined that it was causing too many stack ups or whatever, I guess. So they reverted back to the original pit roads or to the original restart zone size. So when you're looking for where someone's going to go inside the restart zone, it is the actual blue zone that's painted. All right, they didn't turn that off, so it's going to be 14 to go now, minimum. So 14 14 laps to go. That's going to be interesting. It's not a lot of time, but it's enough at a short track to make an interesting run. How's it going, everybody? Wow, we got a lot of people tuning in here for the run to the checkers here at not Martinsville, at Richmond Raceway. But yeah, we got Josh Berry up in the top. He's gonna probably start on the front row here. We're gonna get ready for the choose cone here. So here we go. Everybody's kind of getting ready. I think Truex probably takes the bottom lane like he did the last time. Chastain, I think he'll take the outside. I think it's just shortest lane available. Now, if it's even, that's where the outside versus inside battle can come in. But I think you're gonna see shortest line available. So Berry takes the front row spot. Chastain goes outside. Yeah, shortest lane available. Looks like preferences to the inside. Oh no, Logano and Keselowski prefer outside lane. So Keselowski and Logano both chose the outside lane. Pretty much everybody else was shortest lane available, and if it was there, you take the inside. Ooh, that's an interesting question. What was... So, McMurray was the last fill-in driver to win a race. Wow. Back in 02. Interesting. Might be 2023 here in a minute. We're going to have to wait and see. Here comes Truex looking to the inside. Not really much there. And McDowell's kind of stacked up there. I don't know if he's going to be able to make much happen from that spot. But here we go. Barry's got 14 laps here. He's going to have about 13 now to try and find a way around his teammate here. He should have, in theory, pretty equal speed. It's just about knowing this track and knowing what you can do here. There we go. Michael McDowell, bottom of 3 wide there. Bottom of Bowman. He's trying to make some spots here. I don't know. It says McDowell's way further back than it looks like he is. He's pretty far up there. He's right behind Harvick. So he's 7th. Yeah, I don't know why it says he's 9th. There we go. Moved him up to 8th. But here we go. Again, I think this is probably Larson's race to lose, but I think Berry, he has a lot of short track smarts. He may not be the most experienced Cup driver. He may not be the most experienced NASCAR, but he's done a lot of late model stock races. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has the knowledge to find something here. The question is, though, the pressure. Does the pressure get to him? Here we go. Michael McDowell has some speed here. Here we go. Michael McDowell to the inside on Martin Truex Jr. And it's buffering on me. Uh-oh. No. Really bad time to start buffering on me for the for my stream for me to watch. Really bad time. And it's gonna make me watch an ad. Are you kidding me? Come on. This is painful. Ah, there we go. So there we go. So Michael McDowell up to 6th place here. I don't think he's got enough time to run down the leaders without another yellow. Larson is away. It's going to take some real racing here from Josh Berry or a yellow to have another shot at it. So here we go. Let's see what we can have happen here. Let's say if they're thinking long term, I think you want to ideally try and let your full time guy win the race. So Larson, I think, is who Hendrick wants to win this thing. But man, would it be a cool thing to see Barry win this thing? But yeah, ideally, I think if you're Hendrick, though, you want to see your full time guy get this thing so he can get the race win. But here we go. Let's see. What do we got? I'm really curious to see how this race ends up going. So here we go. It's a battle for the win here. I'm curious to see how this ends up going. Yeah, no, Larson's kind of dragged out to a full second. It's kind of reaching that window. But hey, if McDowell can get a top 5 here, I will be stoked. Ty Gibbs, he might get the top 10 here. Yeah, Ty Gibbs is in 10th right now. He might get a top 10 at a short track. Come on, let's go, McDowell. Come on, let's get that top 5. He's got about a second and a half. That's not going to work unless there's a yellow. But yeah, right now it's... Hey, you know what, though? Josh Berry should be absolutely commended for getting a top 5, really a runner-up finish here out of all this. Here we go. White flag coming out this time. A yellow flag cannot ruin this race for Kyle Larson. As long as he isn't the yellow, he should be the race winner here. Let's see what is going to happen. I feel like there's going to be something late. What's going to happen? I have no doubt that this race could end up going green here. Let's see. Kyle Larson wins the race, and he will be in the playoffs. Nice to see Kyle Larson return to victory lane. Oh, man. Feels like it was a long time coming, but here we go. Kyle Larson, Josh Berry, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick, the top 5. Michael McDowell comes home sick. Hey, you know what? Michael McDowell, that was an earned top 10. Joey Logano, Bowman, Ty Gibbs got 9th, and then Keselowski got 10th. Hey, you know what? Some great runs there. Let's run through the rest of the field real quick before we sign off. But man, that was a pretty good race, honestly. I mean, I know people talk about Richmond not being all that great, but honestly, the strategy was really fun to discuss with you guys, and the late restarts gave us some late drama to talk about. Truex dropped all the way to 11th with those 6-lap scuffs. Briscoe 12th, Amarola 13th, Kyle Busch 14th, Todd Gilliland ended up 15th after all that. Reddick 16th, Chandler Smith almost forgot he was even in this race, and he comes home 17th and on the lead lap. Great day for Chandler Smith, who picked up his first Xfinity Series win a couple days or yesterday actually. Ryan Preece in the 41 ends up finishing in 18th. All 4 Haas cars end up in the top 20. Harrison Burton 21st, Denny Hamlin Harrison Burton in the 21 finishes 19th. Denny Hamlin 20th. Corey LaJoie 21st. Bubba Wallace 22nd. Daniel Suarez, 23rd. Last car on the lead lap. William Byron, last car on the lead lap in 24th. My bad. Then you have Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney, Allmendinger, Cindric, Haley, each one lap down. Then you had Buescher, Eric Jones, and Ty Dillon 2 down. Anthony Alfredo 4 down. Cody Ware 5 down. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. maintains only 16 laps down after the brake fluid and going to the garage. That's pretty good. JJ Haley, credit to him. He was the first yellow of the day. He ends up only 17 laps down. And then Noah Gragson, the only car to actually retire from the event. That's a pretty good day. I got to give a shout out to all these drivers for actually finishing out this race. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you guys did, leave a like on the stream so I know. Subscribe if you guys are new so you guys never miss the next one. I'll see you guys Sunday night, Easter Sunday night for Bristol. Might have some other content coming out before then, but most likely it'll be the live. I will definitely be here, though, for the stream on Sunday night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, though, and I will see you guys next video, live stream, or whatever you guys say to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody, and goodbye!